This ginger is about to be ripped from the earth in the next 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, pull. A year of growth reduced to mere moments of extraction. What you're witnessing is the intense process of ginger harvesting, one of the most labor-intensive yet fascinating agricultural feats. Every year, thousands of acres of ginger fields are transformed as farmers and machines unearth these spicy, knotted roots. But have you ever wondered what it really takes to get that fresh ginger from the soil to your kitchen? From precise planting techniques to backbreaking manual labor and powerful harvesting machines, ginger farming is a delicate balance of timing, skill, and endurance. But why is this process so demanding? And who are the hard-working people making sure ginger lands in your kitchen instead of rotting in the fields? Let's dig deep and find out. Ginger isn't just any ordinary plant. It belongs to the Zingiberaceae family, and it doesn't grow like your typical leafy greens. Instead of popping up neatly above the ground, it hides its prized treasure beneath the soil. That's because ginger is a rhizome, a type of underground stem that spreads and sends out roots and shoots from its nodes. It grows anywhere between 2 to 4 feet tall, but the real magic happens below the surface, where it forms those twisted, fragrant roots that fuel kitchens and medicine cabinets worldwide. Ginger is a global obsession. Its fiery, pungent flavor gives a kick to food, its oil adds depth to drinks, and for centuries, it's been a go-to remedy in traditional medicine. But not all ginger is the same. Once harvested, it can be sold in 3 different forms: fresh rhizomes, processed ginger, dried, ground, or candied, or pure oils. Fresh ginger, with its juicy and intense flavor, sells for a premium in local markets, making it one of the most valuable underground crops. But before any of that happens, farmers must first win the battle with the soil. Yes, it all starts with the soil. The right foundation determines whether you'll get plump, aromatic rhizomes or a disaster underground. First, the land must be cleared. Every weed, root, and rock needs to go because ginger hates competition. Then comes the deep plowing, breaking up compacted soil to at least 30 centimeters so the rhizomes can spread easily. Next, soil testing is important more than you know. Ginger thrives in slightly acidic soil with a pH between 5.6 and 6.5. If the soil is too acidic, lime is added. If it's too alkaline, sulfur is used to adjust it. Now, fertility. Ginger feeds heavily on nutrients, especially potash, so well-rotted manure or compost is mixed in. This not only boosts nutrients, but also improves soil texture, preventing it from becoming too hard or too loose. After that, the land is shaped. Raised beds or ridges, 60 to 90 centimeters, 2 to 3 feet apart, are formed to improve drainage and prevent waterlogging. On slopes, beds follow contour lines to reduce erosion. Before planting, a pre-emergent weedicide is applied to stop weeds before they even start. This is done carefully, following exact manufacturer recommendations to avoid harming the crop. Lastly, irrigation channels are set up. Ginger needs moisture, but never standing water, so controlled irrigation is planned well in advance. Now the land is ready. Months of preparation have led to this moment. The planting begins. With the soil prepped to perfection, it's time to plant. But you don't need to just drop rhizomes into the ground. Every step must be precise. But how? First, seed selection is critical. Only mature, disease-free rhizomes are chosen. Each piece should be 2.5 to 5 centimeters long, with at least one healthy bud on it. Bigger pieces mean stronger plants, better yields. Before planting, these rhizomes are treated to prevent fungal infections. They're soaked in a solution of copper-based fungicide or diluted cow dung slurry for about 30 minutes, then dried in the shade. This crucial step protects against rot and disease, which can wipe out an entire field. Now, the planting begins. The rhizomes are placed 4 to 5 centimeters, 1.5 to 2 inches, deep into the soil, with their buds facing upward. They're spaced about 20 to 25 centimeters apart, with rows spaced 30 to 40 centimeters apart. This makes sure that there is enough room for each plant to grow without overcrowding. Once planted, the rhizomes are covered with loose soil and a thick layer of mulch, usually dried leaves, straw, or coconut husks. This keeps moisture in, regulates soil temperature, and suppresses weeds before they take hold. Watering begins immediately. Ginger needs constant moisture, but never waterlogging. Farmers irrigate lightly but frequently, ensuring the soil stays damp without drowning the young plants. Now, the waiting game begins. In 2 to 3 weeks, the first shoots emerge, signaling that the crop has officially taken root. But this is just the start. The real challenge lies in keeping the plants strong, healthy, and protected as they grow. Ginger is a thirsty plant needing regular but controlled irrigation. Too much water? The rhizomes rot. Too little? Growth stalls. Drip irrigation or light sprinkling is ideal. Mulching is reapplied every few weeks. This retains moisture, keeps weeds out, and prevents soil erosion. Farmers use dried leaves, straw, or compost for an extra nutrient boost. Fertilization is essential. Organic manure, cow dung, or poultry waste is added every month. Chemical fertilizers with nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are also used, but in moderation. Weed control is constant. Hand weeding or shallow hoeing keeps competition at bay without damaging the rhizomes. Pests and diseases lurk everywhere. Bacterial wilt, rhizome rot, and nematodes are major threats. Regular inspections and organic treatments like neem oil or biofungicides keep them in check. After 8 to 10 months, the plants mature, signaling it's time for the final stage, harvesting. So, after months of patience, it's finally time, the moment every ginger farmer waits for. Harvesting. And trust me, this part, it's not just about pulling some roots out of the ground. Do it wrong, and you're losing money before the ginger even leaves the soil. What are the signs that it is ready? The first clue is the leaves. They turn yellow, dry up, and flop over, like they've just given up on life. That's when you know the rhizomes underground have hit their peak flavor and aroma. Too early, and they're weak. Too late, and they get fibrous, tough, and pretty much useless. So timing is everything. Step 1. Prepping the soil. Before a single rhizome sees the light of day, the soil needs a little love. If it's too dry, the ginger snaps in half when you pull it up. If it's too wet, a muddy mess. So, pro tip, water the field a day before. Not soaking wet, just enough to loosen the grip of the soil. And don't just grab a shovel and start hacking away. No, you need the right tools. A digging fork is your best friend here. It gets under the rhizomes without slicing them up like a bad haircut. Step 2. The big reveal. Now comes the fun part. Stick that fork into the soil, not too close, about 4 to 6 inches away from the base. Now, lift gently, wiggle it a little. Let the soil break apart naturally. Yank too hard, snap. There goes your profit. Once it's up, shake off the excess dirt, but be gentle. These rhizomes are fresh, tender, and fragile. Bang them around too much, and you're just making a mess. And here's where the first round of sorting happens. The perfect, plump, unblemished rhizomes, straight to market. The ones with minor bruises, those will be dried, ground, or turned into essential oils. And the small, weak ones? They might get saved for replanting. Step 3. The cleanup job. Fresh out of the soil, ginger is filthy. It's covered in dirt, roots, and sometimes little bugs that thought they found a permanent home. Not happening. So, first, a good rinse. Some farmers use plain water. Others go with a mild chlorine wash to kill bacteria. Either way, this step is really important. Nobody wants to buy ginger with a side of mud. Then, trimming time. Those little stringy roots sticking out? Gone. Any broken pieces? Set aside. What's left is clean, bright, and ready for the next stage. Here's a pro tip most people don't talk about: curing. If you want your ginger to last for months, you can't just toss it in a bag and hope for the best. First, it needs air drying in a cool, shady place for a few days. This hardens the skin, making it more resistant to rot. Some farmers even go the extra mile and coat it in lime wash, a natural barrier that keeps mold away. And then there's the young ginger, the baby of the bunch. Pulled at just 5 to 6 months, it's soft, pink-skinned, and doesn't even need peeling. Straight to high-end markets and restaurants, where chefs pay extra for that tenderness. Once it's ready, the ginger is packed in ventilated crates or jute bags, never plastic, because trapped moisture equals mold city. If it's going far, refrigerated trucks keep it fresh, because by now, every single rhizome is money in the bank. And with that, harvest done. But pulling ginger from the ground? That's just the beginning. Now comes the part where it transforms from a simple single root to something worth way more: the powdered spice, the fiery oil, the crystallized treats. Not all ginger is treated the same. The best, freshest rhizomes are sent straight to market. The rest are headed for a serious glow-up. First, we slice them up, thin cuts for drying, thicker ones for candying. Then, into the drying chambers. Traditional farmers still sun-dry, but modern plants use hot air dryers to speed things up. It's a balancing act. Too hot burns the flavor, too slow mold disaster. For ginger powder, those crispy dried slices get crushed, ground, and sieved until they're fine as dust. The secret is low-speed grinding. Heat ruins the natural oils, and that's where the real kick comes from. Speaking of oils, steam distillation is the name of the game. Ginger gets cooked in steam, and the oils rise up, separate, and drip into collection chambers. What's left is liquid gold, pure ginger oil, used in everything from medicine to perfumes. Finally, the last checkpoint. Every batch is weighed, sealed, and packed: airtight bags for powder, dark glass bottles for oil, ventilated boxes for whole ginger. From here, it's off to spice racks, kitchens, and factories worldwide. And just like that, a simple root becomes a global powerhouse.